Good afternoon, guys, and happy Friday to all of your sunshiny faces. So, guys, it was the first Friday with no football game, no high school football game, but my dad did have to open up the high school tonight for the flag. Kids were having like a little scrimmagey game against some of the like older kids. But it was just like kind of a fun because their last game is this Saturday, along with, or I think Saturday or Sunday, something like that, along with ours that could be as well. But guys, today I actually did a ton of baking. I baked some of these what's it called, peanut butter cookies, and then I also made all of these what are they called, sugar cookies, which this one's not looking so hot, but like the rest of these, this one turned out fine. But yeah, that one I guess in a couple of them, because I was using this darker tray, which the recipe said that like all the other ones that I was using were like lighter, like light colored baking sheets, and if I was doing that, it was supposed to be $3.75. And so that was the majority of the ones I was using, well, because I was switching every 2 batches to make the other cookies, like flip-flopping. So every other set I was using that darker baking sheet, and so a handful of them, because the recipe said that if you did that, it was supposed to be at $3.50. So or no, maybe it was, yeah, it was supposed to be $3.50. So anyways, guys, yeah, a couple of them I ended up kind of like botching a little bit, but hopefully with some icing you won't be able to really tell. And the same thing too with some of the, actually I used all of the light colored baking sheets for doing the peanut butter ones, but for some reason the ones that were closer to like the left side of the what's it called, the oven, it was like baking unevenly, like they were like burning on the bottom. The other ones were like totally fine. So yeah, it was kind of weird. They had a weird little you know, like I don't know if it's our oven wasn't baking at the right temperature or what the heck it was, but it was just like, honestly, and it was only on the bottom 2 cookies, like the ones that were all the way to the left. The ones on the top left there was no problem with them. So I don't even know what happened, guys, honestly. And it was only 2 of the cookies out of the whole batch, or 3 of them, I think, out of the whole batch that ended up like that, along with, like I said, a couple of those, but that's because I was using the darker non-stick stuff, which again cooks at a different temperature. I don't know if I was telling you guys in the other vlog or what it was, but I was having a craving for sugar cookies, and I have ever since, like, it wasn't last year, it was 2 years ago, right? My mom made a ton of sugar cookies for Christmas. Like I said, I don't think, maybe it was last year. I think it was last year that I ended up, like, my mom made like a huge batch of sugar cookies, or maybe it was the year, no, I don't think it was the year before that, because the year before that was when we went to my grandma's house for doing that like cookie bake-off thingy that we did. But last year, I think, like I said, my mom, for Christmas, she ended up making like tons and tons of sugar cookies, and they were all decorated. I swear, guys, I probably ate almost all the sugar cookies that she made because they were so stinking good. And like with icing, oh my gosh, guys, it has to be my favorite dessert. And you guys know I am not a sweets person at all. I cannot stand most sweets, cakes, stuff like that. Every once in a while I'll just have like a craving for them. And then my mom made like a couple of them for, she made those ones for what was it called, for like Jack's homecoming game, and she didn't give out, like they didn't eat like a bunch of them, and I mean there weren't that many, but I like ate some of them, but I was like still craving them. Like I feel like I didn't get my fix, and so I was like, I need to make some cookies. And like I actually put on my grocery list at Aldi's this week to get sugar cookie dough. And I wanted to just get the pre-made stuff because I didn't want to make it. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll do that this week and I'll make sugar cookies, whatever. And I was like, and they'll be fall themed or for like Halloween or whatever, right? Well, I went into the pantry and saw that my mom had the packets of the Betty Crocker like sugar cookie mix, which, like I said, I wanted to just get like the rolls of like the cookie dough, and because I could have made it from scratch if I wanted to. I mean, like I have before, but I just, like I said, just wanted to do it real easy. But today my mom convinced me. She's like, oh, she's like, I have this peanut butter cookie dough too. Like, let's make that. And so she had some of those packets. So I made those first. Then I made the sugar cookies and let them chill in the fridge. I did everything in the KitchenAid too. So like the last time I feel like the last time I made homemade sugar cookies, I made them in the KitchenAid. But like the last time I made cookies like from the mix or whatever, I ended up making them like, I think I used the hand mixer or something like that. Or maybe I even mixed it like by hand. But in the KitchenAid it was so much easier because it has just a stir function. Just turn that one on, it just stirs the whole thing up. So yeah, I made a ton of cookies, guys. And the sad thing was that I had them all perfectly. Like I had 6 cookie cutters and I had just enough cookie dough. I mean, I had like a smidgen left over, but I had just enough cookie dough to actually make all 6 of the different cookie cutters like the exact same amount of times. Like I had exactly enough, right? And then my mom goes and eats one, and then Bliss ate 2 of them off of the counter, and I was so upset. So I am like off cookies. Like I thought I had the perfect exact amount of like all the cookies that I made in all the different shapes and everything. And I didn't have one cookie break. Like I said, I had some that were a little crispy, but overall, like I said, this was the perfect batch of sugar cookies. I've never made a batch any perfecter than this. And then the dog eats 2. My mom ate 1 before they were frosted, and I'm super mad. So I'm actually going to let them sit out and then frost them tomorrow because I just didn't have enough time tonight. But that's because we watched Stranger Things, guys. It came out today, and we ended up watching like 4.5 or so episodes. So I think there's 9 episodes. So we watched like exactly half of them. So yeah, guys, we did that too. But like I said, I was just in the mood to bake, and it was like so perfect because I was like, okay, I'm gonna make sugar cookies this week. And I was like, regardless if they don't, I knew if they didn't have the rolls at Aldi that I was gonna get some of the mixed stuff and at some point try and make it. But my mom just was like, come on, Kayla. She's like, I love peanut butter cookies. Just make those first, and then because I don't like having to chill even though it didn't say that you had to chill the sugar cookie dough from the back of the package, like the guide, whatever, what's it called, the directions. Goodness, guys, a little late and I'm a little tired. But it didn't say that you had to chill it, but I found that works best. Even making it from the mix too, which I think I've only done one other time, but I decided to do it that way, and I was like, and they turned out so perfectly. My mom ate 1, and then I came in here and I found Bliss ate 2 of them. And I was so frustrated, guys. You don't even know. And I was like, I even said to her, I was like, nobody touch any of these cookies. Please just eat the peanut butter cookies. And then my mom went and took one of those. And Bliss stole the other one. So, like I said, I'm going to ice those tomorrow. But, oh my gosh, guys, sugar cookies with icing are my favorite thing on earth. Honestly, guys, nothing beats. Okay, I also really love lemon meringue pie, but I haven't had a taste for it really recently. Like, I've had a taste for sugar cookies so stinking bad. Like, the last couple of weeks, I've just been like, all I want is sugar cookies. And I was like, honestly, I'm going to just ask my mom, please, Mom, will you just make them? But honestly, guys, the process went so smooth. Like, I hate baking because baking is so easy to burn things and to just ruin things. And, like, it was so perfect. I had a whole little system laid out where I was getting one batch in, one batch out. Because, you know, like, I mean, I made a heck of a lot of cookies and was able to keep them, like, keep the cycle going where it was one batch in, one batch out, one batch in, one batch out. And I had, like, the perfect, like I said, system. I didn't even make a mess or nothing, because a lot of times when I go to roll out sugar cookies or, you know, whatever I'm making, I gotta use flour and stuff like that with a rolling pin. I did it actually all on the cutting board, so we have like a big, like, square kind of cutting board thingy that has like pie pastry, like, measurements on there, but you can use it like for anything, and it's just like regular old cutting board. But I used that to you know, shape all the cookies and roll them out on there, so I had no flour mess left over on the table. Like, we took out this the card table to lay all the cookies out so that they could dry on the cooling racks and everything like that, or cool on the cooling racks. Like I said, guys, my brain, I'm just like a little sleepy right now, so they had to dry in the cooling racks though. But yeah, I did that. Like, I had this whole little system going and everything like that, and I was like, I'll frost them all tomorrow and everything, or ice them all tomorrow. But yeah, overall, that again, I was perfect. Not one broken cookie, which is bound to always happen. That always happens whenever I make sugar cookies too. didn't happen with this batch. I was so excited, and I was like, I had the exact perfect amount. Like I said, I had just a tiny little bit of dough left over, but I made all the cookies like so oh goodness, guys, I was just so frustrated because, again, never has happened in my entire life that I get a perfect batch or perfect multiple batches. But the what's it called, the peanut butter cookies turned out pretty well. I'm just, like I said, they're not my favorite, and I'm craving those things, honestly, guys. But then I felt like I was getting a sore throat again. I don't know what it is. It's once a week now, guys. It's like once a week that I get a sore throat and feel sick. But honestly, I think it was because the dry heat. We had the oven on for, like I said, a couple hours while I was moving batches in and out and stuff like that. And then also too, we have the furnace on and everything like that, and the heaters and stuff. So it's a little dry in here, and I feel like maybe that's why, that it's just like allergy, sinus stuff or whatever, and that's just why. That's what I figured. But it's supposed to be actually pretty cold tomorrow. We practice early in the morning, and then we have to go to the other game that, like I told you guys, we have to have them win and us win this week for us to make the playoffs. But yeah, anyways, though, guys, then we have our game on Saturday. But it was weird. Today was the first Friday with no football game. So, oh, yeah, guys. And we got pizza tonight, too. So, that was nice. And I got, like, dishes done, too. I was feeling really productive today, guys, okay, like I said. And baking, too, which baking always is kind of cringy for me just because it's a big mess. I hate messes. And it, too, it's like everything has to be perfect with baking. The measurements have to be perfect. The size has to be perfect. The, you know, width of the cookie has to, or the depth, what is it? The depth of the cookie, whatever. And, like, spacing, when you space them out, like, everything has to be perfect when you're baking. Now, when you're cooking, you just, doesn't taste right, add a little bit more salt, you know, here or there. Like, you know, cooking, I feel like it's easier to screw up and fix. But with baking, it is not very easy to fix if you do screw something up. So, you know, that's why for me, I'm more of a, I like baked goods, but I'm also not a huge sweets person, like I said. But for me, I'm more of a food person than I feel like a sweets kind of person and baked goods person. Instead, I like food more, I think. So that's why, guys. I am, like I said, not totally into baking. But when I do bake, then I feel so good about it. I'm like, yes, I got that done. Even if it was a fail, like, no, sometimes when it is a fail, though, sometimes I don't feel really good about it. But even if it is, though, like, I guess I had a couple fails. Like when I dropped that whole pie on the ground or whatever I was making, the cake. I dropped that whole thing on the ground and messed it all up. I dropped the whole thing on the ground. That's one of those examples of me, like, yeah, that's why baking for me is not a amazing thing. Anyway, so I will see you guys on tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye, guys.